Hello everyone, my name is Olayinka Yeni and I'm from Berger Consult. So today we're going to be talking about AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk is a developer-centric view of developing an application on AWS. It uses all the components we've seen before in our previous class. You can use Elastic Beanstalk to deploy your EC2 instance, your auto-scaling group, your load balancer, and also to deploy RDS. So this is like all in one view that's easy to make sense of. You can deploy all your application stacks using Elastic Beanstalk, and you can also delete all your infrastructure using this Elastic Beanstalk. In our previous class, we've been talking about we've deployed EC2s, create load balancer, create auto scaling group, but we've been doing that independently. But right now, using Elastic Beanstalk, we can also, it also helps to have full control of our infrastructure in terms of configuration. It's like one shop fit all. And the good thing is Elastic Beanstalk is free, but you pay for the underlying instance. So today we are going to use Elastic Beanstalk to deploy two EC2 instance, add the instance to autoscaling group, and also had a load balancer, and also with a database. So it's like designing a simple web application tier. We are going to add the application to add our servers to another scaling group, and also attach that to a load balancer. Then we have a database at the back of the service. So let's get started. You're going to click on services, then type Elastic Beanstalk. Then it's going to get you to this page. Because I currently have a stack running, but for you guys, you're going to see something like this. So the first thing to do is to do what is called create application. Give your application a name. I'm going to give Berger Consult. Okay, test. Your application tags, you can add a tag to your application, like maybe the key is going to be a name and the value is going to be the name that is going to be attached to your servers, your load balancer, any other thing that you create using this Elastic Beanstalk. So, but for now, I'm going to choose the platform. Today, I'm going to do a class on Node.js, okay? Because I want Node.js 12 running on 64-bit Amazon Linux 2 AMI. So the AMI that's going to be attached to this Elastic Beanstalk is going to be Amazon Linux 2. In the application code, you have two different options. You can either upload your own code or you use the sample application code. We are going to see that in the different options in the next section. So click on configure more options. We can just create an application, but I'm sure that we're here because we want to see the different options that's out there. So let's click on configure more options. So on this page, okay, we have different types of options as you can see. So this is where we can add some spice into our environment. But as I said earlier on, we are going to create two Linux servers. We're going to attach that server to another scaling group. We're going to attach the auto scaling group to a load balancer, and we're going to create a database at the back of the service. So you can also use Elastic Beanstalk to create a single instance. That's just one instance environment. But for now, we are choosing the high availability options because we want it to be highly available. We want 2 instances and we want auto scaling. So next we have the platform sections. There's the software options and there's an instance option. Normally, I don't really go into the software options because I just want it as a default. On the other hand, you can click on this instance option. Let's say you already have a security group that you want to attach to this Elastic Beanstalk. You can do that in this modify instance option. And also, if you want, like maybe increase the size of your root volume, or you want to choose another type of root volume, you can literally do everything that you are doing in the process of configuring a new service. So, but we're going to leave all this as default. However, you can also attach a security group. If you don't attach a security group, Elastic Beanstalk is going to create a security group by itself, and that's exactly what we are trying to do. So I'm just showing you this page. I didn't change anything. I just looked at it and I'm back. So this security group is none. We want Elastic Beanstalk to create a security group for us. Next is the capacity. Okay, if you click on it, we want the auto scaling group that is attached to a load balancer because we chose high availability. So we have the option to choose a load balancer. So Elastic Beanstalk is going to automatically create a load balancer and create a target group and put the instance that we have in the auto scaling group in the target group. I mean, that is so slick. And the number of instance, minimum instance, let's put 2. We want maximum as 4. And also we want on-demand instance because we don't want to get charged much. So, and the instance type we can choose. You can choose whatever instance that you want to choose, but because we still want to be within the free tier options, that's why I'm going to choose the T2 micro. Okay, then availability zone, you can choose any, but if you are in your environment, you might have to choose an availability zone. And also, if you want to add your EC2 instance into a placement group, this is also a place to choose the placement group for. The next section is the metrics for the auto scaling trigger. What I mean, we talked about that in our auto scaling group class. You have to set a metrics that will trigger additional server being spun up. So let's just go with the default value here and click on save. As you can see, we changed some things. We changed instance from 2 to 4. If you go back up there, it changed from high availability to custom configuration because now we are adding additional flavor to it. So we have load balance. So click on edit. In this place, it's going to create you have the options to choose between application load balancer, classic load balancer, and the network load balancer. But we want an application load balancer, and also this is a very good place to add listeners. If you want additional listeners, this is the place you add your listener, but we just want our load balancer to listen on port 80. However, port 80 is not secured, but you can also add additional listeners from this section. We have the listeners, we have the process. You can also add additional rules, you can add access log, but we are just going to leave this section as default. We changed this. Let me just change it back to one instance because I don't want you guys to get charged for it. So let's go back to high availability. It's going to automatically change back to 1 instance as minimum and 4 instances as maximum. rolling updates, and deployments. You have the options to choose how you want updates to occur on your server. And also on this part, you have the security section. These This is a place that you can attach rows, and you can also attach EC2 key pairs. So let's assume you have an existing key pair that you are currently using, and you don't want Elastic Beanstalk to create a new key pair for you. This is a very good place to attach your key pair so that you know your login credentials into your EC2 instance. I'm going to attach my key pair and just click and save. Anything you change is going to change from high availability to custom configuration because we're adding additional flavors to it. And also we have the option to choose the network. It said this environment is not part of a VPC. Let's add a VPC to it. We want the default VPC, and since it is high availability, you can just select all this subnet, okay, just for training. But if you are in your work environment, you will have to select if you are in two availability zones and you want your subnet to be in there, you select two. But for the purpose of this class, we are just going to select all. And also, if you want public IP address to be attached to your instance, that is an Elastic IP, you can check it. And also your instance subnet, you can also select all the availability zone and then click on save. On to the next one is the database. Remember, we want to add a database into our infrastructure. We are trying to create an infrastructure create a whole web application in Elastic Beanstalk. So database, click on edit. Okay. I'll choose your database instance size. Remember, we are still running on a T2 micro because we want to stay within the free tier. Storage is 5 gig. Yes, we have to put our username and password for the database. And also you have the options to choose, maybe you want multi-AZ or just one AZ. That just choose the low one AZ and click on save. So right now we are done. We have we created EC2 instance. One EC2 instance is added into auto scaling group, and the auto scaling group is attached to the load balancer. And now we attached our network, our key pair, and put it into our default subnet, and we also create a database. So let us click on create app. So this next section is going to show you exactly what is going on. It's going to, create those infrastructure one after the other, create auto scaling group. I mean, this is just like like an update on what is happening. And also you can even click on environment and let me see the one uh, I'm currently doing. Okay, so this is the one. You can click on it. It's going to show you additional option that you, okay, so if, let's see, if you expand this and click on configuration, let's see what is going on. I mean, in short, you can have insight on what is going on in, of the current updates of what is happening. You see that? So this is what we have. So let me go back into my AWS environment and see what is going on. This was the first one, please disregard this one. I made a video and I deleted it, so that was why, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so let me refresh my screen. we are going to see that Elastic Beanstalk is going to automatically create my EC2 instance. But normally, EC2 instance is the last thing that Elastic Beanstalk, I mean, I mean, it's basically the last thing that is going to come up. But right now, as you can see, it created a target group. Okay. Now we have a security group named. So we have our RDS when we have our auto scaling group. So this is like the steps that is currently happening. So let's go back to our EC2 instance and see we don't have that yet, but I'm going to check my database. Let's look at our RDS and see if we have something. Let me just check it. Because we have, okay, it's creating RDS database, and this is the database name. So let us check. So now we have one database. Okay, this is the database that's just created, and look at the name, and this is the name. So Elastic Beanstalk is creating a database for us. Let us check the load balancer if we have a load balancer already. So let us go to load balancer and see if we have anything from, okay, I think we have one, which is this one. Let me see if we has a tag for Elastic Beanstalk. So Elastic Beanstalk created a load balancer and also create a security group and attach it to the load balancer. So this is my load balancer from Elastic Beanstalk. So let's see the listener on port 80 and is forwarding to the Elastic Beanstalk automatically create a target group, okay, which is this, and also automatically register the target. But since we don't have our instance yet, that is still coming up. Creating Barrel Console, this will take a few minutes. So some of these services are still being created. So by the time we are done, we should have a whole complete infrastructure with the EC2 instance, and that is the last thing that is going to come up because it just finished creating the RDS. Now it's the load balancer, so we have all that. So let's just wait a little bit, then we're going to see when our server is ready. So let's keep refreshing until we get our service. So but we have, in our prior class, we always do this: go to EC2 instance, deploy server, go to load balancer, deploy but now we can create this just using one platform. That is the cool feature, that is the cool thing about using Elastic Beanstalk to deploy our application. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm still trying to wait till we have our servers, but I think it's taking longer time than expected. And also, whenever you are done and you feel like I don't need this environment anymore, you can come into this environment, select, and click on terminate environment. Okay, this is going to delete all the resources that Elastic Beanstalk create. It's going to delete your EC2 instance, your load balancer, auto scaling group. Your database is going to delete everything instead of you going into each sections to delete. Elastic Beanstalk creates and can also delete all your environment. Thank you.